Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Storytale Staging inside the Home Staging TV YouTube channel. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Tori Toth, your host. And today we're going to be sharing with you a hack to update an important part of your home. And I have an amazing home stager with me. She's the owner and founder of A Step Above Designs, which she is technically a home stager and redesigner who specializes in occupied properties. So that's why this hack is so important to her business. Design has been a passion of hers since she was a child, working alongside her grandparents in their flooring and design business. And staging is a skill she discovered through her experiences moving 7 times in the first 12 years of her marriage. Please welcome Amie Stepkoski. And how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me, Tori.
Thank you for being here. Super excited. I love chatting with all of my staging peeps and getting some insider hacks for the audience here on Home Staging TV. So Amie, you're out of Florida. Tell us a little bit about the market there and what type of staging are you working on at this point?
Well, the market is crazy. I mean, and I guess it is probably everywhere, but I mean, we're talking about 20, 30 offers coming in on certain price ranges. So, you would think, why would an agent call me to come in and do a staging consultation? But the agents that are calling me are really the ones that I want to work with the most because they're concerned about their brand and they know that even in a hot market, they want to provide service that's above the others. And they want those MLS photos to represent their brand. So it actually is kind of nice because I really have been able to nurture those relationships with the agents that I really want to work with anyways. So.
And I love that your name of your company is so fitting, A Step Above, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the brand is becoming a step above. So what have you done in pivoting your business? Have you been pivoting your business at all through COVID, or has it been able to sustain itself?
Well, let's see. I'm involved in a networking group, and so I have a ton of contacts around here, just in all types of industries. So I do reach out to other professionals that are in kind of the real estate world, and I just have focused on that, nurturing those relationships. And I've really gotten a lot of referral-based business through COVID. In fact, to be honest, the first quarter this year, I invoiced as much as I did all of 2020. So I really think it's paid off, all the time I spent and energy I spent reaching out to people and just kind of just being real with people, through the whole COVID thing and staying in touch and motivated and not giving up. So
Being real, people. You got to be real out there. And hey,
yeah.
everyone who's joining us, we'd love to hear from you. Come say hi in the comments below. We're about to get into sharing this hack in just a few minutes. But so Amie, you work with occupied stagings. Talk a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. What does that include? Who is that for? And what are some of the, recommendations that you even make?
Okay. So I do focus primarily on occupied. I'm part of RESA, the Real Estate Staging Association, and I'm on our local board. So I have great stagers in my area that I collaborate with for vacant properties, because I want to be, when I form a relationship with an agent, I want to be the go-to. I don't want them calling someone else, honestly. I want them to think, oh, well, I need Amie no matter what. And then I'll just partner with these other stagers to do the vacants. So yes, I focus on the occupied homes. Sometimes it's a property, like especially in Florida, there are a lot of people that have a vacation home down here that's fully furnished, but no one's living there full time. Those are great because then I can bring my accessories in and even bedding, pillows, soft goods, and I don't have to worry about wear and tear or people messing with it. So that's really probably my favorite property because I can just feel comfortable doing what I want with all of my inventory. I do, when I go into a space, like say for a listing agent, and I go meet with their seller and they're living there and about to prepare their home for the market, I do work to use what they have the most, the best that I can, um, because I don't want to go in there upselling my accessory rental if I don't, unless I really see a need there. I don't want agents to feel like I'm going in there to upsell. I think that it's frustrating to sellers and agents if they feel that way. But sometimes that, that is part of it, and it can make a huge impact on, especially a home that maybe has some more dated finishes and dated furniture. Just bringing in those extra accessories to elevate the look can really make a difference and a big impact. So I offer my consultation, which is a couple hours, trying to use what they have. And then, if we need additional uh, accessories or whatever, we'll do that. Or I'll give them a shopping list and they can go find the things they need.
Um, so what are some of the things that you usually recommend that they update in these older homes? Because obviously you need to outweigh the cost versus the value of the update. So what are like some of the simpler updates that you always recommend?
So a lot of times, if it's a more dated home, paint. I mean, we know that Bobby McGrath says paint is like money in a can, because if they can walk in and feel like they're not going to have to paint the whole house, that's one big item off their list. And it really can just update the entire space. And then also, I would say light fixtures. I mean, if you walk in and you see a dated chandelier in the dining room, it just gives the impression right off the bat that this whole place is outdated. And then paint with cabinetry, can make a big difference. I've never walked in and said you should get this kitchen. Like you're not going to get that return immediately if you're getting a kitchen, unless it's just, and usually, of course, they're not looking to spend that much time before listing the property. But certainly in this market, you're not going to do that. So, but painting the cabinets might make a big difference if they're an old, kind of 80s honey color or 90s honey color. Then paint them Florida. You still kind of go with white. A lot of people still like that, or maybe a light gray. We stay away from the darker cabinets down here just because of our region. It's all about sunshine and coastal living. So
light and bright.
yes.
So our hack actually entails some paint, and you're sitting behind a gorgeous fireplace behind you, but it always didn't look like that, did it?
No, and honestly, there are still some things I want to do to it, but yeah, right away I had to update this because it was just, if it's a big feature in your home, it can be like your worst enemy too if it's super outdated, right? It's just like this giant, disaster if it's really outdated. So you got to find a way to at least elevate that look, so it can turn into something that's actually a great feature in your home. So
yeah, and so talk about the fireplace being the focal point in so many rooms. Well, wherever there is a fireplace.
Right. I mean, which is kind of funny that I'm in Florida and I have a fireplace, but I'm telling you, my friends that come in that don't have one, because I would say most houses don't have one down here, but they're jealous when they see it because they're like, oh, you have a place to hang your stockings. So
that's what it's used for, stockings.
I know. So I actually love having it. And honestly, we don't use it. We've tried a few times because there are occasional cold nights in Florida, believe it or not. But just the way that our house is, like the rest of the house is freezing if we use the fireplace. So we decided to just put these candles in here, and they actually have candles that have a timer, and they'll come on in the evening, and it's so nice. You still kind of get that ambiance of having a fire, even in Florida, and you're not cleaning up the mess. But yeah, that's not the hack I was going to share, but that's just a little bonus.
So is that technically a like real working fireplace, or
Wood.
gas or electric? It's wood, yeah.
Wood burning, yeah. So, after cleaning up after the first couple, and, when we can only use it once or twice a year, forget it. We decided not to deal with that anymore.
Okay, so your fireplace used to look something like this. How many people out there have this type of fireplace where it has that brass that's kind of skirting the outside of the fireplace?
Yeah, that is, I mean, when I grew up in Georgia, our fireplace had, I think, the same doors that mine here does. So, that's so popular. And it's funny, uh, it really stood out to me when we bought this house, because not only was there brass, which I know gold is coming back, but when we bought this, gold was not here at all. I mean, it was all about chrome, like brushed chrome, but it really, between the brass on the doors and then the brick was kind of a pink color, which we'll talk about later, like a Golden Girls pink. Um, that combination was just terrible. So the first thing I did was I thought, well, let me at least get rid of that brass. I didn't want to go spend a few $100s on doors necessarily. And I
Mhm.
discovered this is so good for sellers because it's so inexpensive. I went to a craft store and bought just a small bottle of black paint that's used for metal. I think people use it like for model cars and just whatever crafts they're doing that involve metal. And
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't even tape anything off. I just brushed it on all over the brass bands, and then the handles were brass too. So I just painted over those, and
So you didn't have to
you
tape
can't
it
even.
or take the hardware off or anything like that.
No, nope. I didn't do a thing. So just brushed it on. I mean, how fun is that to get this
How many
transformation without all the prep?
I know. How many coats did it take to?
I would say 2 coats. Yeah.
And then did you use like a foam brush, or did you use like
I
a
used a little paintbrush because there were just grooves, in the brass. It was just grooved all the way across. So the brush was, got inside the little crevices and just made it super easy.
I love that. And I think it looks completely different because, you have all that brick there. And I mean, I guess in some instances, sure, why not use the brass to your advantage and have your fireplace stand out a little bit more? Like you said, brass is kind of back in. I still don't think that this is updated from, the 80s and the 90s. So I still
Hmm.
think people do not prefer this. They much rather would, see your amazing.
The solid black. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a distraction. Like even that picture you showed, I mean, that's a pretty fireplace, but I think it's kind of a distraction to see those brass bands.
Yeah, definitely. And so when we're staging properties, we try to eliminate the distractions, especially around these important focal points, right? So you
Hmm.
were mentioning the brick. What did you end up doing with the brick?
So the brick, I mean, I'm not kidding. It was like Golden Girls pink tones, and there were some tan color bricks mixed in and some grays, which you can see the contrasting colors still. But when there were those bright pink bricks mixed in, it just made all of them look like kind of a pink or blush tone. So the whole fireplace looked that way. And so what I did was when we were choosing a wall color, first of all, I chose a more uh, tan neutral with like a little gray. I honestly don't remember the paint color right now, but um, that's what went with my other finishes, the flooring and whatnot. And also, if I was afraid if I went too gray, it would really bring out the pink in the fireplace. So I just took that paint, which was like a light tan, and mixed it with water, probably about 50-50. And and then I got a sponge and it was almost like sponge painting on the brick, but it didn't show up the way that we remember like that really bad sponge painting, like the faux painting. It didn't show up like that because it was on the textured brick. It really just toned down that pink color and just covered it up a little bit because you still see, the texture. You wouldn't know that I painted some of these because the watered down paint just really allows that texture to still come through and some of the color, but it made such a difference.
So you only focused on the pink bricks and left the other ones alone.
Right. Yeah, because I still wanted that variation in colors, and it really just looks like, it's got a lot of different shades of really kind of a tan or
It looks
grayish
like the sand that you
gray.
find at the
Yeah,
beach.
I know. I know. I mean, you wouldn't love this brick if you were in, Tennessee or New York necessarily, but for this region, yeah, I mean, it does look like the beach, so it works. So,
And I like too that so the metal paint that you used, it was more of a flat paint, right? Because it doesn't look like there's a shine to it.
right. Yes, it was flat. And the other thing I do plan to do that I haven't done yet, Tori, that'll look so much better once I do, but I want to paint the inside black, because then it would just kind of go away and you could see my candles in there. But the fireplace has been used and, you can see that just the coloring is just showing kind of the concrete behind it. But that's the next step. So we'll get to it eventually.
So did you have to clean like everything first in order to apply the paint?
On the bricks?
Like on the bricks and even on the brass?
I just wiped down the brass a little bit, and the bricks were fine. I mean, some maybe towards the top. It's a really tall. It's like a cathedral ceiling, goes up about 14 feet. So the fireplace, goes all the way up. So up there, it was a little dusty, and I had to wipe it down a little bit, but not much. I mean, just took a little dust rag and then just did it would. You see the texture. If any dust got trapped in the paint, I don't think you would even know. It's just part of the texture of the brick, but
You're
that
adding
was
texture with
easy.
dust.
I know. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? No, but it wasn't. It really wasn't very dirty. It was just maybe a little bit dusty, but that's easy to take care of.
No, but I love that you use like the candlesticks too and make it a little bit more romantic and putting faux fire into your fireplaces if they're older or they don't really work or you don't want to, deal with wood, especially wood burning fireplaces.
Oh,
They
I
can be,
know.
they're such a hassle sometimes now.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
they
almost like
are.
a skill. It's a skill to know how to work a wood burning fire.
Yeah, I never was in charge
I'm
of
used
that. That
to
wasn't my
pressing a
job.
button.
Right. Flipping a switch.
Yes.
But
Did you
oh,
do
and
anything to the mantle? Or
well, my TV's above the mantle, it's like not my favorite place to put the TV, but that's just how it is. So I don't win all the battles around here.
but you have some decorations around the outside of it, which I love.
Yeah. Let's see.
Do you want to talk about that?
I just have a little vignette of a little birdhouse with some shells and sand. Did you know birds had houses with shells and sand on their house? Little greenery, I just like all the kind of natural. I mean, I try not to go overly coastal. I love Florida living. I love living here, but that's about as coastal as I get in the house. So
No, but I think that really helps soften the hardscape of the fireplace and the brick too, to bringing in those more organic, natural things that you would find,
right.
particularly in your area too.
Yeah, it's fun to just have different textures. That's what I love about this neutral trend. You can still add interest, by using plants or, whether they're faux or real or textures or, natural things like a starfish. So
I love it. I love it. So now you can have your family curled up by the fire and
by the fire.
by the fire. Hey,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, go ahead, put them in the chat. Colorado Decor is asking, what are your prices? I guess, do you have a range of where you start?
For my consultation, accessory rental is just all over the place, but it's just depending on the level of it. If it's $1 million home versus a $300,000 home, it usually takes different sizes and quality accessories. But my consultation that I offer for realtors right now is $275, and that's for about an hour and a half. So. And then I leave a report with them. I don't go home and do a report, but I bring one with me that the seller writes on while we're walking through, because then when I leave, it's just, I'm done, other than communicating back and forth a little bit. If they have questions, or if they want to send me pictures showing me what they've done, check in on their progress, that sort of thing. So.
And do you, I guess, price based on hour or based on square footage?
Well, that would be up to 3,000 square feet. So it's, and over that, I mean, we're talking about more, but that's my minimum too. So, even if it's smaller than that, I mean, that's my base fee for a consult.
That's what's going to get you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. That's that and like 4 cups of coffee.
4 cups of coffee, yes. I've seen your morning face.
I know. And I had to have a lot of coffee, right?
Yes. What I love about this fireplace hack, though, that you talked about today is that, you could do this with other metals around the house too. So even if you have the brass, shower that has all that brass around it, the brass frame, and even your artwork too. Like if you have this gold brassy frames that you want to change the look, you could do that too. So this is a great.
I've done that with a lot of frames, actually, just with chalk paint. That works well too on frames. Yeah. So, and then there's lots of colors you can go with. So.
Well, I think that's the thing too, when you're talking about occupied like stagings, that if you are in an older home and you're not going to sit there and start doing all these major renovations, but there's ways that you can even update some of their accessories or furniture, with different pillows or, just doing these small little painting DIY things. It will update the space versus, having everything look, 10 years old or it looks dated, right?
Yeah. And one thing that I feel like I've done this a lot lately in these occupied homes where they have maybe a big wall and they just need some updated art, and I can't find like one nice large piece in their house. If I can find some pictures that can go together in a grouping, then that is key. And you can really pull together almost anything if you can find some frames that are similar in some way, or, you want something consistent in the grouping.
Yeah.
So that could be just painting the frames the same color, and that could pull all of those together so it feels like one nice cohesive group that takes up a lot of space on the wall and is a lot less expensive than going out and buying a huge piece of artwork. So
Yeah, so we gave you guys we gave you one in-depth hack, but you can go wild with this hack and do all sorts of different DIYs inside your house.
going wild with the chalk paint and the metal paint, right?
Yes.
And house paint for the bricks.
And house paint, yes, for the bricks. Thank you so much for hanging with me this afternoon and sharing this hack with us. There's so many people that live with that dated fireplace, and it's such an easy fix. Like, how long did that even take you?
Oh, gosh. I would say the doors with the black paint was maybe 20 minutes, the 2 coats, and then the brick, it took me, I just kind of played with it over a couple of days, because I'd be sitting on the couch and see another brick standing out that I thought, ooh, I got to go get that one tomorrow, So, but it really didn't take long at all. I mean, you could most certainly do it in like an afternoon if you had a plan and you knew, maybe you were going to do the whole fireplace. I mean, you could do a whole fireplace. I just wanted to keep a lot of that variation there. So,
yeah, and I love that. I love that. So if you guys are in the Tampa Bay area,
mm-hmm.
If you're in the Tampa Bay area and thinking about selling your property, make sure that you have a conversation with Amie first and reach out to her at astepabovedesigns.com. There you'll find out all of her details, including her services and what exactly the process is when you're working with her company. Amie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Tori. It was fun.
I know.
It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
I know. I'll have to venture out to Florida and hang by your makeshift fireplace there.
I know. We'll enjoy the candlelight later in the evening with our glass of wine.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking for sure. Thank you so much for joining us today, or just catching us on the replay. If you have any questions about this hack, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what other videos you'd like to see right here on Home Staging TV. And until next time, happy staging.